Meet Bradley, a traveler from England. After an eye-opening trip to Indonesia, he found himself seeing Islam in a whole new light, especially noticing how Muslim women seemed freer and happier than women in the West.
This is very, very controversial. And I don't think people are going to like me saying this, especially in the UK. Something I really love is the religion. It has completely destroyed my perception of Islam. What we hear about Islam is places like Afghanistan and Iraq. It's all we hear about. And when we think of Southeast Asia, we don't think of Islam. We think of Vietnam and Buddhism and all these kind of things.
Bradley is a British traveler who has been visiting Indonesia since June. After traveling and experiencing life in Indonesia, he has shared his controversial take after experiencing Indonesia's culture, comparing it to his home country, the United Kingdom. His content on Bradley's show is about travel and cultural critique, providing his audience with an outsider's view of life in Indonesia. In this particular video, Bradley makes a bold claim. Indonesia, in many ways, surpasses the United Kingdom. This statement alone would be enough to stir controversy, but Bradley goes further by providing detailed reasons. He revealed why he thought Indonesia was better than the United Kingdom and had points to back it up. Firstly, he started with street food. Both countries have very different concepts of street food. In the United Kingdom, street food is just a marketing gimmick and soulless. That just make it a money-making venture. When you make street food about money and not quality and taste, the people will not come back for food. They know thought and care is not being put in. In fact, many Asians who have lived in Asia all their lives and are used to street food have questioned the United Kingdom's lack of street food. In Asia, street food is a big part of culture. In Indonesia, street food is very culturally significant and has been a part of people's lives for decades. Many street vendors often inherit recipes from their ancestors, while others create recipes based on modern tastes. It has such a big presence in Indonesia that it is considered one of the countries with the best street food in the world. Indonesia was also featured on a Netflix documentary called Street Food Asia that allowed the world to get a glimpse of what Indonesian street food is like. For the last reason, he saved the best for last, taking up the majority of the TikTok to explain.
As soon as I arrived here, very apparent to me that women are happy, everybody's free, everybody's kind, but it's also the structure that the Islam kind of brings to the society here. Now, being woken up every morning at 4 or 5 a.m. by the call to prayer is another thing that is difficult for me. But in comparison to the UK, we don't really have religion. And many people, we have many Muslims, we have many Christians, we have many this, but nobody really goes to church and nobody's really that kind of invested in their religion. It's unique to see. And I do find it very interesting. And I hope that's not too controversial.
To the West, any Muslim countries are ones in the Middle East and war-affected countries like Afghanistan. To Southeast Asia was perceived as the countries practicing Buddhism and entirely different from Muslims. What surprised him was how everyone was happy in Indonesia. In a world that thinks that all Muslim women and unhappy, seeing women in their hijabs and looking happy was a stereotype-shattering moment. What moved him more was how invested Indonesian people are in their religion and spirituality. Bradley mentioned that in the United Kingdom, he noticed that although it was made up of a lot of religions and cultures, not many were as invested in their religion. But in Indonesia, he saw a sense of belonging and community when it came to religion, especially Islam. Unlike the UK, where religious practice can be more private and less visible, Indonesia's Muslim community is openly and actively engaged in their faith. Although he revealed it has been difficult for him to be awoken to the call to prayer for Fajr, he has grown to admire it as it is something he has not seen in the United Kingdom. It was unique and interesting to witness, as that definitely changed his perception of Muslims and Islam in general. Ever since he has landed in Indonesia, he has been making Indonesian content, from trying their coffees to their famous food, he has also been making review videos and documenting his experience for his followers to see and enjoy. In his comparison TikTok, many supported his viewpoints and shared their own experiences, from religion to life in Indonesia. Many Indonesians thanked Bradley and also showed him appreciation for his kind words about Indonesia. May Allah guide him towards Islam.